Hi everyone, let's solve today's daily challenge, that is find the pivot integer. So in this question, we're simply given a positive integer n and you need to find a pivot integer x such that the sum of all elements between 1 and x inclusively equals the sum of all elements between x and n inclusively, and you need to return this pivot integer x. So see, here you are given n is equal to 8, right? And n is equal to 8, basically consider all the numbers starting from 1 to 8 up to 8, right? And you need to select x, right? So there is a number among these 8 numbers, up to which if you sum up the numbers, like if you calculate from the left starting what is the sum, and if you go from that number to the right what is the sum, if that sum becomes equal at that particular number, right? So that number is your x or pivot integer, and that you need to return, right? So in this case you can see when n is equal to 8, so the numbers that you can have is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? Correct. Now if you choose to sum, like when you will choose 6, right, you can see that starting from 1 to 6 what is the sum? 21. Starting from 6 to 8, right, what is the sum? 21. So it is same, so that means your 6 is your pivot integer and that is what you have to return. It's quite an easy problem. Now will you solve it in n square? No, right? When you already know that you can calculate the, like here what you're doing is essentially that you are calculating the sum of this part, correct, and the sum of this part, and for each and every integer you are going to check, is this a pivot, is this a pivot, is this a pivot, or is this a pivot, which one is it, right? And if there is none, you have to simply return -1. So see, what you are doing is that when you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, so all you have to do is, let's say I'm iterating and I am at 5, right? So I want to calculate sum of this part and the sum of this part, correct? So how can I calculate it? Simply use the formula to calculate the sum of n natural numbers. In this case it's 5, so the formula is n into n plus 1 by 2, so that is what we're going to use. So you can see 5 into 5 plus 1 by 2, what is the sum? It's 5 into 6 by 2, which is essentially 5 into 3, that is 15. Now you want to calculate from 5 to 8 what will be the sum. Now here what you can do is sum up all these numbers, right, starting from 1 to n, and simply subtract the sum of these numbers, right, actually these numbers, right, up to 4, which is I minus 1 in this case, right? Reason being you have to consider inclusively 5. If you include 5, what is the sum, right? So that is going to be, if you sum all these n natural numbers, you're going to get 8 into 9 by 2, which is nothing but 36, minus what you'll do, I minus 1, up to I minus 1 natural numbers you have to subtract, which basically means I into I minus 1 divided by 2, which is nothing but 4 into 3 divided by 2, which is 6. So you'll subtract 6, you'll get 30. So basically these are not matching right now, but as soon as you come to 6, these will match. So what are we going to use? We are going to calculate a left sum, right? So we'll be having a for loop, right? We'll be iterating from I is equal to 1 to n. And left sum, how we'll calculate? We'll calculate left sum is I into I plus 1 divided by 2. And how will you calculate the right sum? For the right part, how will you calculate? Right sum is going to be sum up all the n natural numbers that you have, that is n into n plus 1 by 2, and subtract the sum of I minus 1 natural numbers, correct? So you'll get I into I minus 1 divided by 2. So you will get left sum, right sum. So at any I, if left sum and right sum are becoming equal, that means that particular I is your pivot integer, and that you can simply return in that case. Otherwise, you have to return -1. Pretty easy problem, and this solution will be your big off in solution. That is your time complexity, and space complexity you can already see it's constant. Now let us quickly look at the code, which is quite easy. So you're simply iterating from I is equal to 1 to I less than equal to n and calculating the left sum. So how you're calculating, we already saw. Right sum, how you're calculating, we already saw. And at any point, left sum and right sum becomes equal, you have to return that particular integer. Otherwise, return -1. So I hope you understood the problem.